relationships. They can be the most wonderful experience a human being can have, or the worst. When something goes wrong in a relationship that was once beautiful, life can be transformed into a living hell. What do you do then? Tom Joseph's book, Why We Stay Stuck, has answers to many of the questions that couples and families may ask. Take a few moments to listen to Tom speak about some of the points that he discusses in his book.
In our last segment, I shared with you the top 10 ways to identify codependency. Today, from Denver, Colorado, I'm going to share with you the top 10 actions to break codependency. Remember, this information is from my book, Why We Stay Stuck. You can go to my website at thewell.net and you can order the book, Why We Stay Stuck. If you want a seminar in your area, go to my website at thewell.net and contact me there so that we can come to your city and do a seminar on why we stay stuck. Today I'm going to talk about the top 10 actions to break codependency. Number 1, learn to pay attention to doubts and premonitions. Codependents usually don't feel like they're good enough to have doubts and premonitions. There are loved ones and there are people in your life, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a parent, or whether it's a child, that you know there's a premonition or a doubt about what they are doing that is not good or is not right. But codependents usually ignore that. They see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, and they think by staying silent that everything will just iron itself out. And the first way to break codependency is learn to pay attention to doubts and premonitions that you have and learn to express them and confront the person. Number 2, do not allow emotions from you or the other person to persuade your stance on a final decision that concerns a very serious matter. What happens is we do not stand our ground on something that's very serious with our relationships or with our family because we're worried about the emotion of the other person. And what does that mean? That means that the emotions of the other person, whether they cry, whether they show tears of sadness, whether they're angry, or whether they're happy or sad, we're controlled by their emotions because we are more concerned about that than we are the final matter. So don't allow your emotions from you or the other person to persuade your stance on a matter. I have a saying that says this: you never make a decision, a serious decision, on an emotional plea. Never go by your emotions. Never go by emotionalism. Even though emotions are given to us by God and we all have them, we want to not make decisions based on emotions, but we want to make decisions based on facts. And that's number 2. Do not allow yourself to make decisions based on emotions of the other person or yourself. You know, other people can really play on your feelings. They can show big tears and they can show you their children, and they'll say that we can't pay our rent and we can't do this or we can't do that, or you caused this and you caused that, or you hurt my feelings. You see, those are emotional pleas, and codependents are very controlled by emotionalism by the other person. So another way to break codependency is to not allow emotions from you or the other person to make a final decision on a matter. Number 3, trust your gut. That goes along with what we just said. The third way to break codependency is to trust your gut. You see, gut feelings are very important. A lot of people are told don't trust your gut or don't trust your feelings. I say trust your feelings, don't trust your emotions. Those are 2 different aspects. So here's what you need to do. If you have a feeling deep down in the middle, a pit in the middle of your gut, in your stomach, and you know something that is not right, you have an instinctual feeling. You have an innate feeling to protect yourself, and it's a gut feeling. Or you have a gut feeling about your son or your daughter if they're taking drugs or they're drinking or they're doing something illegal. Check it out. But codependents never do that because they always violate their gut feeling because they've been told that they're always wrong. Because the codependents are very afraid to upset the other person or to make the other person emotional. So trust your gut. That's the third way to break codependency. The fourth way to break codependency is do not agree with everyone, just to agree. Codependents usually just agree even though they don't agree. The reason why they do that is because they hate conflict and they hate the other person's emotionalism, or they want to be loved by everyone, so they think by just agreeing, even though they don't believe it themselves, they agree anyway. So number 4 is do not agree just to agree. The fifth way to break codependency is do not fear the repercussions from others when you confront them. You see, codependents always are afraid of the husband's response or the wife's response or their loved one's response, and they're afraid of the repercussions. Well, he said he would leave me if I said that, or she will not love me anymore if I don't do this, or my parents will not leave me an inheritance if I do not do everything they tell me to do. So I have to walk on eggshells with them. You know, these are ways codependents adjust themselves, and these are the elaborate coping mechanisms I was talking about in my former segment about codependency. These are the elaborate coping mechanisms we have developed from generation to generation in order to survive in that family that's experiencing great emotional pain and stress. So now we were conditioned to fear the repercussions of the abusive person or the abusive people emotionally, verbally, or physically, or spiritually in our lives. Okay, number 6, always check your doubts with a trained counselor or a professional. Because you know what codependents do? They check with their girlfriends, they check with their boyfriends, they check with their co-workers, and they get all these opinions from people that really don't know what they're talking about. You know what else codependents do? They check with a person that is actually abusing them to see if they're right or wrong. Of course, that abuser, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a family member, whether it's a sibling, whether it's one of your children, you will check with them to see if they're going to be upset or if they're doing the right thing, and they're the person that is actually using and abusing you. And so that's why it's important for codependents to check your doubts with a trained counselor and with a professional.
Thank you for taking time to watch this video presentation. Tom has helped many individuals and couples through their difficult relationships, and he'd love to help you as well. If the information from this video was helpful to you, then why not pick up a copy of Tom's book, Why We Stay Stuck? To order your copy of the book, or if you'd like more information about webcam counseling, visit Tom's webpage at www.atthewell.net. That's www.atthewell.net. Or you can call Tom toll-free at 866-449-WELL. That's 866-449-9355. Check back again soon for the next segment from the book, Why We Stay Stuck.